Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be doing the emoji book tag, which is where you take your top 5 emojis that you use in conversation, you know, like the little smiley facey dudes, and then you sort of describe how you tend to use it, and then you find a book that matches or aligns with that emotion or that emoji. And so the first one that I use all the time in conversations and things like that is a happy face. Just a regular, normal happy face that I'm usually trying to use to be like, hey, that made me happy, that was a good thing that you said. And so for this, I am picking Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake, which is a comic book from Boom Studios, written and drawn by Natasha Allegri, one of those. This is just a really cute story, and it's very happy. Like, there's not a lot of conflict, and the conflict is fairly minimal, and it's a happy story, and it's got a lot of happy, fun colors, and it's also, if you're a fan of Adventure Time, this is just kind of like a fun, like, spin-off sort of thing of Adventure Time, and so that's kind of fun, too, with it, and makes it happy. So this is just happy. The next one, which makes sense, considering this is happy, is a sad face. I use a sad face a lot to signify when I'm sad, but more importantly, to really signify that I'm upset and not happy about something. For this one, I chose a book that I don't actually have, but I read, and that was Latkia, which is a comic book that's about the first dog that went into space during the 50s, when there was the whole like USSR versus USA, who's going to get to the moon first kind of Sputnik-y thing. And so Latkia is the first dog, first thing I guess that breathed and lived that was ever put in space. And basically this comic is sort of like a fictitious telling of the story about this, you know, the backstory behind this dog and that kind of stuff. And oh man, that book crushed me. I cried a lot when I finished it. It was very sad for me personally. And you maybe if you're a big animal lover, even though I really kind of knew the end, it just, there's so much good build up, and it was very beautiful, and it was well drawn and good, but oh my god, did it make me cry. The next emoji that I use a lot is sort of this one that in particular is on the GChat, like Google Hangouts thing, and it's the mouth where it's very like, sort of like, it's not sad, but it's sort of just like, oh man, I can't believe that just happened, like what's gonna go on? And so for this, I'm choosing, unsurprisingly, Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. In particular, really almost the whole series, but the first book had a lot of those like, moments in it, more so than the later ones do. Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell you too much about this book without spoiling it, but there's a lot of moments in here that you're not expecting and that you think is gonna be good. And if you haven't read Game of Thrones, you probably know what it's about. It's a big fantasy series, essentially, that's told from like 1 million people's perspectives, and it's a great show on HBO, and the book's very good too. Game of Thrones. The next one that I do all the time is I do hearts, and normally I'm sending people hearts to be like, I care about you, or I love you, or I think you're great. And I think the books that best sort of encapsulate that kind of feeling, that romancy feeling, at least for me, is pretty much anything by Jane Austen, but in particular, I am going to choose Emma by Jane Austen, in part because I have been obsessively watching Emma Approved, which is a great web series, which I'll link down below if you're not familiar with that. But Emma, I think, is one of those ones that you really feel the heart a lot more so than, say, like Pride and Prejudice, for example. Pride and Prejudice or like Persuasion is a lot more tortured souls, and like Sense and Sensibility is just silly. Where Emma's like a nice little love story, I feel like, that's not overly tragic and epic. It seems very like real, like it could have happened sort of a thing. And so Emma is good for the normal kind of heart that I send. And finally, the last one I picked was the winky face, which I'm often using to sort of be like facetious or sarcastic or just to be silly, occasionally to be flirty, but not too flirty. But it's normally a flirty thing, and so for that, I'm going to pick the book I'm currently reading, which is How to Marry a Marquise by Julia Quinn. Basically, all of Julia Quinn's books are 19th century romance novels, and they're very silly, but they're full of like tongue-in-cheek kind of humor and that whole sort of like wink-wink. It's just winking the whole book. The whole book is a winky face. That's basically what it is. So yes, those are the emojis I tend to use the most in conversation. I did a little research beforehand, so the people I'm going to tag for this are Elena of Books and Bears, Jackie of Jackie B, 1985, and also Ashley of Said the Story. To do the tag if they haven't already, I'm pretty sure they haven't, and then you, of course, too. If you haven't done the tag, go to town. It's fun. It's fun to kind of try to figure out like which ones you use all the time, and it sort of almost like tells you something about your life patterns. I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you soon with another vlog. Bye!